Good afternoon, everyone. I'm here to present the fourth quarter and year-end statistics for the crime report for 2013. And I really am quite pleased to be able to present what amounts to be quite a positive year-end report on crime statistics for 2013. The overall picture is the long-term trend of total crime in Bermuda continues to be decreasing. And for the first time in the last 5 years, all major crime categories are on a decreasing trend. Comparing 2013 with the previous year, total crime is down from 3,990 offences to 3,480, a reduction of 12.8%. Total crime for the year and total crime for the fourth quarter of 2013 both stand as the lowest crime rates recorded in the last 14 years. Comparatively, total crime has fallen by 43% since the year 2000. But while total crime figures have been moving in a very positive direction for several years now, our community was still impacted by crimes of violence last year. Bermuda recorded 5 murders in 2013, 3 of which were committed with firearms. That compares equally with the total of 5 murders in 2012, although in that year all were committed by firearms. An additional 5 people were injured last year through firearms use, and that compares with 7 injuries the year before. Perhaps the most notable statistic for the fourth quarter of 2013 is that for the first time in 5 years, in that quarter, no one was fatally shot and no one was injured by firearms. Crimes against the person for 2013 fell from 677 to 615, or 9%. Crimes against the community fell from 772 to 531, or 31%. Crimes against property fell from 2,541 to 2,334, or 8%. Total burglaries recorded a 5-year low, with 479 residential, 144 commercial, and 11 tourist accommodation burglaries being reported for the year. An estimated total of 35 kilograms of controlled drugs were seized in 2013. Cannabis accounts for about 2/3 of that amount, and the total seizures are collectively valued at about $2.9 million. The majority of seizures were made at the borders by the Customs Department, and they account for 60% of the overall total. Total traffic collisions are down slightly from 1,815 in 2002 to 1,774 last year, a reduction of about 2.3%. The yearly trend for collisions is slightly downward, from 38 collisions 5 years ago to 36 collisions per week last year. That still represents a daily average of more than 5 collisions, and that seems to be a fairly high number for such a small jurisdiction as ours. More tragically, 10 fatal road traffic collisions occurred last year, compared to 9 in each of the 2 preceding years and 13 in 2010. And it's an important point, I think, to make that in the last 5 years, more than twice the number of lives lost through gun crimes were lost through fatal collisions. 24 shooting deaths as compared with 54 road traffic fatalities in the same period. There are clearly some very positive indicators in last year's crime report. We believe the reductions in crime have resulted in part from robust law enforcement, but more importantly from community support, community efforts, and community action. The police are now examining the crime report and other supporting documents, such as a public perception survey, to consider our annual policing plan that is due to be refreshed on the 1st of April. So far, the operational priorities that are arising from the documents center around, firstly, gang and antisocial behavior, secondly, engagement with the community, and thirdly, road safety. I will be working on a draft of the policing plan in the coming weeks, and I'd like to extend an early invitation to the public to attend a town hall meeting to discuss the annual plan further before it's finalized. And that meeting is due to take place on Thursday, the 20th of February at St. James Church Hall in Somerset. Thank you.
At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we will entertain any questions you may have.
A lot of crime experts tend to tether crime with state of the economy. Is there any connection here? Is there less crime now because you take that to mean the economy is on the rebound, or is there no connection?
Well, that is a common connection, and it's one that not just Bermuda is experiencing, because crime trends in the UK are on a decreasing trend, and crime trends in the US are on a decreasing trend. But certainly their economies, like Bermuda's, has not been in a good state for the last 5 years. So this is one of those statistical nightmares that you can't actually make the connection that the theory tells you to make. If the economy is running poorly, then there should be an increase in crime. We haven't seen that.
What do you attribute what are some things that you attribute the decrease in crime to, such as maybe police presence, etc.?
I mean, I'd love to sit here and take all the credit on behalf of the Bermuda Police Service, and clearly we have upped our game over the last 5 years since 2009, when we had a spike in gang violence. We have more officers available for foot patrol, more community action team or CAP officers who are engaged in the neighborhoods that are experiencing most of the antisocial behavior. We've put more effort and energy into our investigative capacity, our forensic ability, our armed response. We really have put a lot of energy into law enforcement in the last 5 years. But I've also said since the beginning that Bermuda cannot arrest its way out of the gang problem. So there was never an expectation on our part that we would be the panacea to everything. I think the overall reduction is partly due to enhanced law enforcement, robust law enforcement. We've arrested lots of people over the last 5 years associated with gangs. But the assumption must be that it's a community effort. There's more activity and action going on right across the board. We've expanded from 12 neighborhood watches to 110 in the last few years. We've introduced a new concept called Community Action Group. That's like a neighborhood watch, but it's where the community needs some redevelopment or design out some crime or just make some improvements to deal with the chronic issues. We've got more helping agencies running more programs in a more coordinated fashion, and I think we have to assume that it's the collective nature of all those things happening at the same time.
Last year you had a higher number of finances in drug seizures. Why such a low amount this year?
I mean, that really comes and goes. You know, there is an orchestrated effort on the part of the police and customs to make sure that we are as targeted and focused as possible. There was a time where we would just flood the borders with police officers and customs officers and search everything, and that's difficult. That's difficult. Bermuda's an island in the middle of the Atlantic. The borders are porous, and we need to put our limited resources where the intelligence tells us to go. Sometimes, like last year, we make significant seizures. Sometimes, the year before. Sometimes, like last year, you don't have the same results.
2 individuals that were charged last month with the heavy vetting murder have now left the island. Any word on tracking them down? Interpol, Bermuda Police, English Police. How is the whole operation coming? Can you shed any light on that?
All I can say really is it's an extradition effort that's being led by the DPP.
Any other questions?
Yes, sir. It's a little off topic, but would it be possible to find out a bit more about the expansion of the CCTV network? I think it's being expanded into the west of the island.
It's been expanded across the whole island. There's a contract that has just been signed as a result of the tendering process, and the vendor is working on implementing the cameras and all the recording equipment and all the other infrastructure, and that's got a go-live date of 1st of April. So it's not just the West End, it's actually a series of cameras that will be placed right across the island from St. George's to Dockyard.